Hey everybody, welcome back. It's me, Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide and empowerment coach, and I am here with your weekly angel guidance by astrological sign. If you'd like to learn more about me and my services, please feel free to go to my website at www.terihunter.com. That's TERIHUNTER.com. You can also find the link below, as well as my contact information if you'd like to call or text me. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the week of May 24th, 2018. I'm going to do a 4-card spread for each sign, starting with Aries. Let's see what we have for you this week, Aries. All right. Our first angel is Akasha. Our second is Archangel Michael. The third is Rochelle. And the final card is Layla. So what I want to say, Akasha represents being a spiritual teacher, having the ability to counsel others, to help unleash their spiritual gifts. Archangel Michael and the opportunity or the obstacle is asking you to have the courage to make changes in your life. Rochelle is talking about following the guidance of your heart. And the final card, Layla, represents spending time in nature to connect with spirit, to sort of talk about your wants, your desires. It looks to me, Aries, as if many of you are going through some changes in your life that are sort of, they feel a little intense in some ways, like they're indicating the new chapters in your life. So when I look at Akasha as a spiritual teacher, I feel like it's more about you allowing yourself to learn from this experience and knowing that this experience is going to teach you something about yourself, about your wants, about your desires, about the bigger things of what you want for your life moving forward. And Archangel Michael in the opportunity, the obstacle, is really saying to have the courage to allow yourself the privilege of following the guidance of your heart. Here's Rochelle. Rochelle is sort of a card for me. She's my favorite angel, and I hate to play favorites, but she's the one that says when I leap out, when I trust the bigger knowing of what I want versus everything else, practicality, reality, my circumstances, if I sort of stretch out for what I want, there's gold there. And here's Layla. Layla's asking you to sort of, this is for me a mobile meditation. It's a card where Spirit uses the elements of nature to help soothe me, to give me signs and omens that I am moving in the right direction. And again, I want to think that that card Akasha as the teacher is that Spirit will use the elements of nature to help teach you to have a better relationship and dynamic with your own desires, and then they will support that through these signs and omens. It looks like it could be kind of a time where you're more interior. These changes don't feel like they're necessarily bolting out of you, but they're really contemplating a bigger dynamic and ushering in more opportunities for happiness, more opportunities for you to express your authentic self in a way that feels more rooted in what you really, really want, and less rooted in what others want for you or how you'll be perceived by others. All right, let's go on to Taurus. I'm going to try really hard not to bang on the table. I tend to forget that it shakes the camera. All right, my Taurus friends, what do the angels want you to know this week? The foundational position, we have Archangel Raphael. In the opportunity, the obstacle, we have Merlina. In the angel's advice is Chantal. And in the final, is Akasha. Akasha was just there for Aries in the foundational position. All right. So Taurus, it looks like, I feel like I'm already feeling a trend of feeling the winds of change once again. Archangel Raphael is the angel of healing. Often he talks about literally physical healing. But when we're under a tremendous amount of stress, emotional stress, it affects our bodies. And I feel like that's really where he's going with this, just to be aware of how our stress is affecting our physical body. Years ago, someone said to me something about, when you eat a lot of salt, how you can feel it in your joints. And then they said, imagine what that's doing to your brain. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, this stress eating and eating a lot of salt could be creating sort of this pinch in my brain, so I'm processing things from not really a clean canvas. I've got Merlina in your opportunity or your obstacle. This is a card of confusion, and I have Chantal talking about romance. So for many of you Taurians, you may be feeling that stress may be coming from your intimate relationships. It may be coming from just shifting in your intimate relationships, or even the longing for an intimate relationship and the frustration of not having one. And I want to go back to this weird stress eating idea that I'm getting for you guys. I kind of feel like you're supposed to be mindful of your diet this week, of how what you're eating is affecting how you're feeling. Okay, and then in the final position, I have Akasha, which is a spiritual teacher card. So for me, this is Archangel Raphael and Akasha saying, as you pay attention to how you nurture your physical body, it will help you process your intimate body and your emotional body more efficiently from a more balanced place. We don't always have the opportunity or the privilege of getting what we want. Let me rephrase that. When we're in relationships, there's two people, what we want and what they want. And at this point, I'm thinking whatever the other person wants is superseding what Taurians want right now. And they're going through this process of being stressed out about not knowing how it's going to play out in any way. And watch your diet during this week, because that is affecting how you're processing this whole dynamic. Okay? Let's go on to Gemini. Oh. All right, Gemini. Here we go. All right. Our first card is Xana. Second angel is Seraphina. The third is Rochelle again. And the final card is Desiree. Wow, this really is becoming a theme, at least for those first three signs. There's some changes going on. I don't think they're coming into the physical world just yet, but they're definitely being contemplated. And I think that as a whole, Gemini is really looking to claim themselves back and their happiness. Xana in the foundational position is the angel of protection, and I don't necessarily think this is always about physical protection, although it can be, but it's about emotional protection. And for you, Gemini, I really feel like there's this ping-ponging effect that I'm getting. It's like you're contemplating so many things that you won't even let yourself settle in on one side. Because in Seraphina is in the opportunity, the obstacle, and she talks about a happy change to your family, the addition of a newcomer. But as a collective, this feels more like it's important for you to put your happiness, your family. When you shut the door at night, Gemini, who's in the house with you? And are they really... or are the dynamics within the home? Even if you live alone, are you giving yourself the privilege of looking at your life from the side where you will get the things that you want? I tend to think you guys are pinging to the obstacles, to the challenges, to what you haven't got yet, to where your frustrations lie. Because in the final position is Desiree, saying conditions aren't necessarily favorable for moving forward. Now, as I was shuffling the cards for Gemini, I was thinking about some astrological dynamics that I didn't talk about with the first two signs. In June, the planet Mars is going to go retrograde, and it may not be as intense for Gemini, but it will be intense in the respect that Mars is the planet of action. It rules Aries. It also rules Scorpio in a second position. Anyway, I'm not going to get too deep with that. But between Saturn, the big daddy in the sky being retrograde, and Mars, there could be this push-pull feeling of wanting to move forward and not being able to, being restricted in my movements. And I think that Xana is saying that this is about deeper contemplation, that if you were to actually be able to move on what you're thinking now, it would be interruptive. It would be almost like a fear-based shift versus a strategic shift. So I want to offer Geminis this week to contemplate your lives moving forward, the things you want to achieve, the experiences you want to have, the material comforts you want, and know that if they are not appearing right now, it's your opportunity to start to train your mind to think about, yes, I can have those things, versus, oh no, will I get them? Okay. All right, let's go on to Cancer. All right, guys. What do the angels have to say for you Cancerians this week? Our Memorial Day weekend. I forgot it's Memorial Day weekend. At least here in the United States. So it's a 3-day weekend for most people. All right. Wow. So far, Cancer, we start off with our angel Shanti, who's the angel of peace in our foundational position. We have Caressa in the opportunity or the obstacle. We have Merlina in the angel's advice for taking advantage of Caressa's energy or getting around it. And then Layla. Shanti, being the angel of peace, is really talking about a new era coming in, but the peace is not something that is bestowed upon you. It is a privilege you give yourself by allowing energies that are not fostering your peace to sort of break away. So let's just say that you've had a friendship with somebody for eons, decades. You've known each other since you were teenagers. And while you treasure that friendship, your lives have changed, and maybe some of the dynamics within that friendship aren't really fostering peace for you anymore. Maybe that friendship, your friend is so entrenched in their story that they're feeling negative. I'm just throwing out a hypothetical so that you can see where I'm going with this. You might have to step back from that friendship a little bit, because like attracts like. So if your friend, or if the situation is negative and you're trying so hard to shift into a broader thought of what you want for yourself, you could find yourself being pulled in over and over, like a cycle. So Shanti is saying, I want to bring in a new era of peace, but part of you is going to have to participate in where that disruption is coming in, and just step back from it. You don't need to disconnect, because Caressa is offering you a new chapter in your life, and a new chapter that has happiness in it, comfort, and I want to say connectedness for you. Cancer, you're very much about home and hearth, and if your home is disruptive in any way, your life will feel disruptive. And so it's your privilege and your honor and your participation in creating that peace, because Marlena's telling me you're feeling like it's outside of you somehow, that your hands are tied in trying to create a new dynamic. But I'm not so sure that I think your hands are tied. I think it's more in the permissions you give yourself. Because here we have Layla in the final position. Layla is my mobile meditation. She's the angel that says to me that as I spend time in nature and I contemplate these things and I say to Spirit, thank you for giving me the eyes to see a new experience and giving me signs and omens of what that experience can be when I agree to participate in my own peace. So it's going to be an interesting week, it looks like, coming up. An interesting weekend, for sure. All right, let's go on to our Leos. What do the angels have to say for you this week? Okay, first we have Archangel Uriel. The opportunity or the obstacle, we have Rosetta. In the Angel's Advice, we have Bethany. Oh, and in the last position, we have Bridget. All right, guys. So Leo, Archangel Uriel will deal with the energies of frustration, anger, and unforgiveness. And it looks to me like this potentially could be falling in the realm of your children, or working with children, or even fighting with your inner child. I feel that you may be frustrated, you know. Especially I want to address parents. It's funny how I usually go with the inner child here. Now I want to address my Leo parents, because I feel like your kids may be giving you a hard time right now. And there's a part of you that may be wanting to address them as the children that you have known them to be. Your babies will always be your babies. But those babies grow into young adults, and young adults into mature adults. And I think that there may be a little bit of a clash in your being able to evolve into communicating with them at a new level. Okay, because it's interesting, I have Bethany here that says it's this card of self-care, but I think it's not, I think it's in the privilege of allowing you to see your children evolve into the young adults that they are. I've got Bridget here, which is a card of warning. And so warning, what I want to say is, it's not like warning danger, Will Robinson, go back to the ship. It's more, we need to look deeper into a situation. So when your children are little and they start to run off, you grab them and you just kind of wrangle them in and do what you need to do. But as they evolve and they grow and they run off, now we have to have an interior knowing that they will make the good decisions, that they will step up to the plate of their own lives. And we've got to kind of allow them to put themselves into situations where they learn how resourceful they can be. And I think that as parents, you are potentially very frustrated with that process because you're feeling a lack of control. So this is about surrender. Now let's go the other side of this for people who don't have children. I want to say that I think that this is a time where you may be frustrated with your own inner child. There may be a part of you that is just screaming to express yourself, and yet the timing of it, the dynamics of it, the obligations surrounding you this week. Let's say you've got a lot of family dynamics you've got to do. Oh, I've got to go to a baby shower, or I'm required to take my mom to the doctor, and you're feeling a sense of obligation and frustration with that. I think that this is an opportunity for you, Leos, when these initial obligatory dynamics come up and you don't want to do them. Your inner child says, I don't want to do that today. I don't want to have to take care of that person's this, or I don't want to take care of something other than what I want to do for myself. I know you Leos get a bad rap for being a little me, but I don't think that's always fair. You know, I think sometimes it's important to take care of yourself. So I guess what I'm saying for my single Leos is that when you're making your choices this week and you're feeling a sense of obligation that is really feeling muddied, I think if you push towards it, you may find yourself in an argument with somebody, and you may find yourself in a clash and a conflict, and it'll end up being worse. So take care of yourself and maybe say no, because the no would be a bigger yes to a better dynamic. All right, let's go on to Virgo. Maybe the tides will change a little for Virgo. Maybe we'll have a little more of a interesting, lighter week. All right, the first angel for Virgo is Mystique. The second is Francesca. The third is Vanessa. And the final card is Archangel Raphael. You know, I'm getting the funniest hit that I'm coming back at you from last week, because Mystique is saying charge ahead, keep moving forward. You're coming out of the dark into the light. Expect miraculous solutions. Miracles are simply energetic alignment to your desires. The belief, the faith, the unwavering knowing. That is what creates the things that we want. Because Francesca's in your opportunity, your obstacle, and she's saying, what do you visualize right now? Because visualizing it not happening, visualizing all the problems, all the obstacles is actually going to be the cog in the wheel that stops it. Vanessa is saying, what are you going to choose? A faithful dynamic? What if it all works out? You know, again, my Virgos, you're an earth sign. You like to know where you're going. You're planners, you're strategizers, you're dependable, and you're practical. And that's great. And I love that about you. But every once in a while, you're going to have to leap out on faith. And I'm going to say this, that little leap out on faith is going to give you this sort of magical feeling about things. And not outside of yourself, but inside of yourself. That as you go back to what Mystique said, charging ahead, really allowing yourself to say, you know what, I may not see evidence that anything's moving just yet, but you know what, I know that I'm doing the work. I know I'm standing in the energetic alignment to my outcome. I'm believing it. I have faith in it, and I'm taking those methodical steps, and it's all going to work out. So that is what I think Spirit has for you this week, is just to hold the line. One foot in front of the other. All right, guys, on to Libra. Here we go, my Libras. How is this week going to play out for you? What do your guides and your angels want you to know? First angel is Athena. The second is Sonia. The third is Rosetta. And the final angel is Rochelle. Oh, this is wonderful. So Athena is, you know, I love her name because she so reflects her energy. It is really about Librans, both male and female, lovingly asserting yourself towards the things that you want. And I always say want because it's, you know, I mean, it's in a general way. It can be an experience. It can be a relationship. It could be a nap, okay? And giving yourself permission to lovingly say, I've had a hard week, or I've worked hard this week. I get to do that. I'm really seeing here, Sonia is in the opportunity, the obstacle, and this represents a deceased loved one. But as a collective, it will very much represent your guides and your angels, telling you that it is, I've got Rosetta in there, angel's advice. This is not about children. This is about you lovingly asserting yourself in a playful way. This week is really about getting out of your head, Libra. You know, as you take each action, let's just say that you're in real estate and you're working towards a sale. Part of this Athena's energy is knowing that you know that you're doing everything you need to do to stand in alignment with your desires, with being, you know, standing in integrity in your position. And then letting yourself relax a little and play this weekend, you know, and knowing in the final position is Rochelle. As you honor and follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you now. There's a part of you that's going to have to sit back and say, you know what, I know I do a good job. And I know that everything that I can do has been done. And now it's a matter of letting whatever else get out here that needs to be done, and it will come to me. This is kind of really cool. This is an interesting time for you because this is really where Libras get to practice their balance. The balance between their being energy and their doing energy and their knowing energy. I was being, I did my doing, and now I sit in my knowing that what I'm looking to achieve will be there. All right, let's go on to Scorpio. I have to say, guys, I don't know if you listen in between because I know I put in your timestamp, but it's so weird, the weather here this week. It's like, I feel like it's January. It's like rainy in the morning and cloudy all day. So strange. All right, Scorpio, let's see. Oh, in our foundational position, we have Seraphina. In our opportunity or obstacle, we have Opal. In the angel's advice, we have Raphael. And then we have Azure. All right. You know, Scorpio, with these, Seraphina in the foundational position talks about a happy addition to my family. She's holding a baby in her hands. In the opportunity obstacle, I have Opal that says that your children are safe in heaven and on earth. I have Archangel Raphael, which is the physical body, the archangel that is in charge of the physical body, the healer. And then I have Azure saying your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Don't try to force it to happen. I feel there's two things here. Number one, I feel like this whole happy change to my family and the Opal card together feels very much like Scorpio is really wanting to give birth to their dreams. These children don't feel like babies to me. They feel like dreams. And the dreams may be to have babies, to have relationships, to have happy families. I'm not even feeling that much in the career sector right now as much as in the intimate body for Scorpio, in the emotional body, wanting to feel connectedness in home and hearth. I have no other way to say it. And in that offering a healing for you in that sense of connectedness, that real deep, passionate connectedness. Now I want to say this. Azure is sort of saying to me that you're not experiencing that connection. You're not yet at that moment where you're experiencing that happy feeling of, you know, Scorpio, you are such an intensely emotional, wonderful, intuitive sign that your sense of connection is somehow requires to be slightly deeper than everybody else's. For instance, Virgo, their connection is going to be more in the physical plane, while yours is just much more in the emotional, intuitive, I want to say almost in a spiritual, what I feel like you're looking for. And I feel like this week, in order for you to experience those things, it's about having faith, that knowing that Opal is taking care of your dreams. They're safe in heaven and they're being cared for on earth. So if for some reason you're not feeling that connection, maybe there's an opportunity to look a little bit deeper, where you either are settling for something that isn't quite in alignment, or your faith has been shaken so much that it's hard for you to believe it'll ever come to fruition. And in doing so, that sense of despair is not going to help your cause. It's important for you to try to keep your eye on the prize of what you want, and say, why not me? Why not me? Because you deserve it. You're very, very loving energy. So keep your eye on the prize. Spirit is offering you more happiness than may be in the physical world right now. It feels like your dreams are being nurtured by heaven, by the angels, by God, so that you don't inadvertently walk into what looks like a dream and turns into a nightmare. Because there's more to be had than you can see. So just fly high, meaning do your best. Keep your head up. All right, let's go on to Sagittarius. All right, Sagittarius. Francesca is the first angel in the foundational position. Chantal is in the opportunity and or the obstacle. Athena is in the angel's advice. And the final card is Crystal. Well, this is very interesting to me. It's funny how sometimes, you know, when you're doing an intuitive reading for a collective, it's very different than doing it for an individual. But when I looked at this, I thought Sagittarius is and love. You know, Chantal is talking a lot about love here. So Francesca in the foundational position says, what do you desire right now? Visualize that. Negativity will block your progress. When we're in relations with people, we get used to certain habits, certain ways of them being. And, oh, I know how you're going to react. I know how you're going to react. And you're probably right. But what I think Francesca is saying is maybe it's about time that Sagittarius chooses to react differently to the familiar in their love life. So if you know that, you know, your partner has a certain way of being, and maybe that certain way of being is not in alignment with what you want right now. Maybe you want to elicit more romance in a seasoned relationship. Rather than looking out at yourself, out at your partner to be more romantic, more emoting, more connected, what if you chose to do that? without any expectation of how they're going to receive it. Because I have Chantal here, which is the angel of romance, and I have Athena asking you to lovingly assert yourself in a romantic way. And I don't mean this necessarily sexually. I mean it intimately, connectedly, being the energy that you want to receive. If you want your spouse or your partner to come up to you and give you a kiss on the cheek, then go up to them and tenderly touch them and give them a kiss on the cheek. Because Crystal is offering you a shift. And I think it's really interesting because here's Francesca saying, visualize on what you want. Don't let the experiences you've already have block what your opportunities are for more romance. And Crystal is saying, have faith and hope because there's more on the horizon that you can't see. You know, there are people that are very unemotional, that don't particularly like to be touched or like to go into the emotional realm. But if we're in partnership with someone like that, if we try to meet them halfway in the way that they receive love, maybe that will elicit them to think about how we receive love and move forward. I really think this is about our intimate relationships. I don't think it's about our familiar relationships or business relationships per se or friendships. I think it's really about being the partner you want to be with. That's it. And then if for some reason you find yourself banging your head against the wall a year from now because that person has not responded, well, that presents opportunities for you at that point. All right, let's go on to Capricorn. All right, my Capricorns, my little goats. Goats are really cute, I think. I've been seeing a lot of goats on TV lately. I've seen a couple in person. I don't know why I'm talking about goats, filling the dead air while I'm shuffling. Sorry, guys. Okay, Ariel is in the foundational position. Rosetta is in my opportunity or my obstacle. Rochelle is the angel's advice. And Bridget is in the final position. All right, Capricorn. It's kind of funny because this week I think what Spirit is saying is that you have been having new experiences with Spirit in the way that you're processing. Again, earth signs, want to see tangible, scientific proof, that whole great stuff. But it's interesting to me because I think that your experiences are kind of bringing out a childlike dynamic within you. It's almost as if you grown-up Capricorns are maybe starting to adopt a little bit more of a childlike demeanor. I don't know if I kind of want to say that you guys, it's kind of funny. I feel like you're being rebellious and you just want to play all the time. Here's Rochelle saying, as you honor and follow the guidance of your heart. And then I have Bridget saying, look deeper now. I feel like you guys are maybe sick of work or sick of obligations or sick of being dutiful and responsible, and you just want to shake it off and be a little rebellious, play hooky a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not want to be so grown up right now. Now it's interesting because Bridget is not necessarily warranting, I don't think it's a card of caution in the sense of be afraid as much as it's, as you connect to Spirit. The first and the fourth position are more in the physical realm, whereas the second and the third position are more the advisory. So in our first and fourth, we have Ariel connecting to Spirit is changing the way you think. And Bridget's saying, look deeper, even deeper into how Spirit is changing the way you're viewing things. Dang, that lighting. Anyway, I'm trying to show you the cards because that childlike innocence and that, oh, maybe I need to pull back. Oh, okay, I'll do that. All right, childlike innocence and then what you want, the grown-up wants and desires will start to reveal themselves, but you're going to have to work past your own logical minds a little bit. So I kind of want to offer you this little exercise for the week, Capricorn. As you turn over to Spirit, let's say, you want sign that it's time to plan a vacation this summer and you want to go on a destination vacation. And then all of a sudden you start seeing Tahiti and Bora Bora and this and that. Ask Spirit to confirm that that is a sign they're giving you. And if you see something 3 times, pay attention to it. because I think anything you see 3 times is not a coincidence. It's a sign of some kind. All right, childlike innocence, play a little bit more, and don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid that if you play, you'll be taking your hands off of the wheel. Think of it as being on cruise control a little bit. All right, let's go on to our Aquariuses. What's up for you this week? Ooh. Well, there we go. Archangel Uriel is our first card. Our second card is Bethany. Third card is Mystique. And the final card is Ray. Interesting. All right, Aquarius. You know, Archangel Uriel is really a very subtle and yet powerful angel in the fact that when we are frustrated and angry and standing in unforgiveness, we're very much standing in the physical realm of our ego. So his energies don't necessarily resonate because we're being the human experience will eclipse our ability to feel his energies, but he is here subtly asking you to take responsibility for how you are participating in your own frustration. How are you aligning to the very thing that is pissing you off right now? Because it's interesting, Bethany and Mystique right now, this is about self-care and charging ahead, but this is, to me, there's a little bit about Aquarius. It's almost, I feel like, a stubborn energy that's saying, I want to do it my way, whether it's right or wrong. I don't know. I don't want to offend y'all, Aquarians, but I think you got to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room, because Ray, for me, is saying I've got to start to think of things from a little bit of a different way. This is a meditative position. She's connecting her power chakra. That's the yellow stripe with her third eye, and it's flanked with a green stripe and a blue stripe. So that's really very much about connecting with my power through my heart and then speaking to myself from a different place. So if Aquarians are feeling trapped in some way or thwarted or restricted, I kind of think you're going to have to look and see, am I participating in that in some way? Am I not giving myself permission to move? Do I feel so obligated to what that person's perception of me is, or that dynamic is, that I am not allowing myself what I want, and that's why I'm mad? Just give it like I get it, guys. All right, let's go on to our final sign, which is Pisces. There are some, I'm always trying to say that, with these astrological dynamics, that there are challenging dynamics, but for every challenging dynamic, there is an opportunity attached to it. These things that we swim through astrologically don't have to tank us. I think they're about bringing awareness, and the more discomfort we feel is reflective of where our awareness is. Because as we're aware and we give ourselves permission for other choices, we don't necessarily have to be annoyed or frustrated. We may be challenged, but we don't have to go down a dark path with it. That's what I guess I'm trying to say. All right, let's go on to Pisces, our final sign. Ooh. All right, Miss Bridget has showed herself again. There's Serafina, Fiona, and Chantal. Very interesting. Okay, so Bridget, it's so funny when you start a word, caution. It elicits, nothing but caution lights and detours and oh no's. But I really think that oftentimes what Bridget is saying is that the superficial initial reaction that you're having is maybe not necessarily a clear one. So give yourself a moment to look a little bit deeper. And here's Serafina, the angel of abundance, straight up abundance. So if in any way Pisces is worried about money, about resources, anything to move yourself over move your story forward in the material world, it's time to turn over those resources to Spirit. In the sense of, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving them. Don't micromanage Spirit. If indeed you are looking for straight up money, material resources, people, places, things to help move your story forward. Put your order in like you would to the drive-through. I'm ordering 2 double doubles and a side of fries with a malt, and then drive to the next window and know that Spirit will be bringing this to you. Because I have Chantal here. Interesting again. This is the angel of romance. It will talk about the resurgence of love, but when I put it with Bridget, I'm thinking you're going to fall more in love with yourself. And I don't mean that in a conceited, I'm so great way. I mean it in a, wow, I was a little scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. I put myself faithfully in an energy that says, you know what? I know that I'm being cared for. Both of these angels have their arms wide open in reception. It's the law of allowing. It's the law of attraction. As you allow Spirit to bring you your resources, you're going to get a tail wag for yourself that's going to lead you into really kind of new levels of wanting to manifest newer, higher, greater, more fulfilling dreams. And the resources that you need are going to start to feel a little bit like a game you play with Spirit. Well, I got this dream now and I want this, so when are you going to bring this in? And then they'll be like, as soon as you get out of the way. All right, guys, that's it for the week of May 24th. Happy Memorial Day here in the United States. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner. And if you'd like to book a private session with me, please feel free to contact me through the information in the or the links and information below. I never know how to phrase that. All right, guys, I'll see you on Monday with our Brave Heart meditation. And then again next Thursday with next week's Angels advice. All right, have a great week. Bye.